hail against all white men that held his ancestors captive as slaves. T.B. Joshua privately vowed to enslave the white world in return and revenge the humiliation of his forebears. Paul Agomo was the disciple who, for many years, was groomed to create the illusion of miracles by T.B. Joshua. He was the first indigenous prophet to be ordained by T.B. Joshua.
I am Pastor Godwill Agomo Paul, formerly known as Prophet Godwill Agomo Paul. I am very happy to testify to the work of God in my life, because God saved me from the valley of shadow of death. That is the synagogue church where I spent more than 10 years, and today I'm a free man. When I joined the synagogue church, I thought I have met a savior. But unfortunately for me, I didn't know I have started my journey into hell. I joined the evangelical class. My performances there took me to Ghana in the 1997 crusade. When I came back from Ghana crusade, the reports T.B. Joshua got about me and my performances there brought me closer to him. And I was advised to join the disciple by his agents. When I joined the disciples, I was surprised at what I met there. It was a concentration camp, but there is no power, no force as strong as brainwash. I was gradually brainwashed into living without eating meat, without eating fish. I was gradually introduced into humiliating people. I was gradually introduced, in fact, imagine such instances like a lady is being accused of committing fornication, which were all lies, and the lady was brought out before all the disciples, naked, and pepper was grinded and mixed with water and inserted into her vagina. She almost went mad.
T.B. Joshua would engage all known mind control techniques to keep his disciples in check. Sleep deprivation was his standard, and the cruel punishments he meted out for the slightest offenses were calculated to induce fear. Snitching was the order of the day, and he had the ability to disorientate the best of men. Disciples dared not converse freely for fear of punishment. Gradually, the disciples will be led into working out his deceptions to fool the public, becoming tools in his propaganda machine.
I was made a prophet in June 12th, 1999, on his birthday. From then, the powers invested in me increased. I became a terror to co-disciples. People run away from me because I will do whatever he asked me to do. Any disciple he asked me to slap, I will slap. We were being caned with koboko, with cow tail regularly. Without all our bags, we are filled with scars. So this is what we continued. We aided him. People were being tortured to some extent that you cannot talk, suffering and smiling. Before the congregation, you will be smiling, but at the back of the congregation, because you cannot say anything, you have been brainwashed to believe that T.B. Joshua is the Lord. That even if you offend him in this world, you will still meet him in heaven. Prophecies were informations given to him by members, information given to him by workers, disciples. When we get people at the gate, if you have been there before, you will see in the morning as early as 4, 5, people will gather at the gate. 4, 5 a.m. people will gather at the gate. Right at the gate there, we interview people, screen them, they tell us their problems and everything. These are things, those who allow inside, these are things we will take to T.B. Joshua, and that will form the basis of his prophecy. Sometimes we will gather people and ask them to write their problems. They will write their problems and we'll carry it to the old site, to one of his prayer grounds, and keep it there for him. He will keep reading it. After about 2 to 3 months, he will come out, those things he read from those people's problems, he will come to predict them. He will come to prophesy them. People from overseas, the same thing. About the healing, the so-called miracles. Miracles of what we call miracle of crippled people. I bought 4 wheelchairs for T.B. Joshua in the church. What we call miracles of cripple healing, like that of Mr. Maxwell EJ. That wheelchair was bought by me. Maxwell EJ got drunk, and when he was stepping down from his story building, he fell off and hit his waist. And he had a sprain. When he came to us, we now brainwash this man that unless he sits on a wheelchair, he will not gain the access to see the man of God. And we brainwash the whole family. You can imagine how powerful the game of brainwash is. And you see people crying, begging him as if that cry, they started from home. Why the show? Why do we have to show the whole thing? How they are crying, begging him, Papa, please help us. All those things are manipulation. I bought the wheelchairs. That wheelchair that Maxwell used was one of the 4 wheelchairs I bought. There's a woman we also call Mama Jaye from a place called Bini in Nigeria. I bought the wheelchair. The wheelchair again for Hyacinth. Well, these 4 wheelchairs were being recycled among all the whole people they bring. When they bring you, we will brainwash you to sit on wheelchair. Are we talking about? What are we talking? So many things. What we call cancer. Those things are not cancer. If you want to prove this, in later times, when some Americans came and discovered that those things were not cancers, they started writing against us. And we turned the name. We no longer call them cancer. We call them leg ulcers, body ulcers. No longer cancer again. Those things you see we bring out there are wounds. Some of them are wounds sustained from bike driving. Some are accidents. Some are fire burns. Some are gunshots. Different kinds of things. And these things are fresh. Things that will heal with time. If you come to the emergency in the morning as early as 5:30, you will see that the main cancer people are being discharged at the gate and brought in those with fresh wounds. The things you call cancer of the breast is not cancer of the breast. They are mostly women nursing babies. That thing is not cancer. It is abscess. Abscess of the breast, maybe because of the pressure, because of that is abscess. I can explain this to you. You have to look at those pictures very well. You will see those things are not cancers, they are abscesses. What if they had also gone to a normal hospital? That thing will be removed. There are so many things we did with TB Joshua.
Disciples were not allowed contact with the outside world, and the only television sets tuned to public stations in the synagogue were in his office. Joshua has a morbid hatred for all genuine ministers of the gospel. He will deride, abuse, and curse ministers while watching their TV broadcasts.
The ministers in Nigeria, big top ministers, David Oyedepo, the Redeemed Pastor, Pastor Adeboye, Michael Konko, I've seen their pictures whereby he will ask the prayer warriors to put their pictures under his shoes. You know, these are the spiritual work he normally do, and he will use the shoes to be walking on his prayer mountain. Sometimes he will be using hammer to hit on these pictures, because he doesn't want them to say anything negative against him. He does not want them to say anything about him.